Your pet would like to have a word with you. In fact, your dog, cat, bird, horse, fish, even bearded dragon would like to have an entire conversation with you. But having that trans-species discussion is difficult without an interpreter or go-between, a specifically skilled individual who's been communicating with our animal friends for more than 3 decades, bridging gaps in understanding, elevating relationships, building peace and harmony among all Earth's creatures. That person is Suzan Vaughn, the Animal Whisperer.
In this episode, a visit with a dog, a rabbit pair, and an African gecko. In the Canadian home of Lilly and Ingrid, there lived a variety of animal species. The family had recently adopted a young pomeranian who was 6 months old. His name was Lachlan. Looking into his little sandy-colored face, you couldn't help but say, "Aw." He looked like a tiny lion with his light-colored mane, which poofed out all around his little face. And because his face and muzzle were darker brown in color, his eyes really stood out. In this household of 2 parents and 2 kids, there was also a richly patterned, fat-tailed African gecko called Autumn. Her basic body color was yellow with brilliant black spots. She also sported markings that traveled the length of her body like rivers meandering left, right, and up her bumpy sides. 2 bunny rabbits, Trin and Bun Hen, completed their animal menagerie. One was mostly beige and white, and the other was mostly light brown and black. They were side by side comforting each other when I made their acquaintance. She wanted to start with Lachlan, the baby Pomeranian. He had come to them from a breeder, and she wanted to know if he missed his old family. Well, it's a little bit of a tricky question because animals pretty much live in the present, and so they don't have longing or missing or project themselves out into the future. So he says, no, I don't really miss anybody. I love my new home. I'm really loved by my people. I'm really excited that I have youngster. I have that young energy myself. I love that. I mean, she loves me a lot. And the place where I was before this, it wasn't quite like that. They did love me and everything, but not this level of relationship. There was a purpose to me being born there. Even my mom wasn't that attached, my dog mom. She was just kind of doing a job in a way. She did a good job, but she was of the understanding that I wouldn't be there that long, you know? So everybody has an understanding there of what they're doing in terms of the breeding situation. But he says this is like a whole new life. This is a life where I'm part of the family. I'm really loved. I'm attached in a way. I'm always considered. Everything they do, they think about me. They're like they're like always thinking about the food. You know, is this the right thing? He's looking in his bowl like, what's going to be in there next? You know, so he's showing me they're, you know, like fussing over me, and it's kind of fun and cute and different.
That's awesome. That is a natural lead into our next question. We were wondering about food. We have been fussing over him, and he's quite picky, and we don't know. Anyways, we'd love to know what food he wants to eat and what he wants us to buy for him.
Okay. Well, let me see. Do you think you're fussy over food, Lachlan? Yeah, I mean, he shows me I can take it or leave it in terms of what's in the bowl. But the problem or whatever is that dog food is so horrible now. There's hardly any food in it. So here's what you want to shoot for. 55% meat protein, generally fish, fowl, that kind of stuff, because beef is really hard to digest. 55% of that, and that could also include like scrambled eggs, things like that. 30% real vegetables and 15% minerals.
Great. And yeah, we've been trying to follow kind of a raw food diet and kibble sometimes. So yeah, we're trying to do more whole foods.
I'm not totally sold on raw.
Right. Sorry. I should say whole food diet. It's
Whole
not
food.
raw. Yeah.
Right. And he says, he gives me the idea like I could eat every other day. Now, I don't think that's exactly what he came from, but he said there was competition for the food. He says there was other puppies. So there was competition from the very beginning. So I got what I needed, but I had to work for it a little bit. So now I don't really have to work for it, and there's plenty of food here. And the higher the quality food, the less he'll eat. And his stomach is the size of a walnut. I mean,
Right. Yeah. Okay. You want to ask this one only?
Like, what toy does he want? Because we buy him toys and he likes them for about 3 days or so, then he kind of loses interest.
okay. Well, he says He says, I don't want, I'm not that interested in an object. I'd like to play with you. I mean, if you have a little stick or we run around, that's my favorite playing. And these other things are kind of okay, but the plush toys, they don't really do much of anything. They're okay, but my play I have a playmate, and that's my favorite thing. Then he shows me like a stick. So I feel like he's interested in the natural world, like play with a stick, play with a branch, play with you know, the play in the grass, hunt for a bug. So it's like outdoor playing and running. That's what he likes the most, running. So
That
you're his
makes sense.
favorite toy.
That's cool. Okay. And then we just have this is the last one for Lachlan, and we can move on to Autumn, the gecko, or actually we'll move on maybe to the bunnies and then the gecko. But we're just wondering. So right now he's sleeping. We have like a well, I can show. Anyways, we have like a little pen almost for him, and inside his pen he has his little crate that he's crate trained and seems to enjoy being in his crate, and that's where he sleeps. And it's downstairs, and we all sleep upstairs. We're just wondering if he'd prefer to be sleeping upstairs with us, or if he likes being down in the more quiet area downstairs.
Yeah, he's very people oriented. So he's like, yeah, let me go upstairs with the people. Even if it's with my crate, I would be very happy to be next to the people. Yeah, he's very people oriented.
Okay, awesome.
He told me he was a good traveler, and she confirmed that he was. Then we moved on to the bunny pair, Trin and Bun Hen.
Do they like it in a cage or do they want to live
Like
outside?
roam free permanently. Like we live on an acreage.
They feel very safe in their enclosure, but they also wouldn't mind being out on occasion. So they would like to have some outdoor time daily or several times a week, but they are afraid of dogs. So they do want to be safe from other animals, and they would like to get out and roam around a little bit in a small area, not like an acre. You have like a backyard or yeah. They would be great out there for a few hours a day. But they do like their enclosure and they feel very safe in there. Questions about their rabbit diet were next. Did they have enough to eat? The bunnies showed me they really enjoyed nibbling on grass and the particular kind of nutrition that came with it. They enjoyed the water in the cool grass as opposed to the dry pellets. They sent me a feeling that the two kinds of food gave them the variety they craved. At times, the family brought the rabbits into the house, and they wanted to know how the rabbits felt about it. Trin and Bun Hen said they were afraid of dogs, and even though the dog meant them no harm, it made them nervous. With his puppy energy, Lachlan jumped on the rabbits and tried to play. The rabbits were frightened when his puppy energy was high. Dogs are a natural predator to rabbits, so it made total sense on an intellectual level. I let Lachlan the dog know that the rabbits were part of the family, and his job was to protect them. Next up, Autumn the gecko. They wanted to know if Autumn was getting enough food.
Yeah, kind
Both.
of.
We
They're like,
give her mealworms as well as crickets, as well as this grub mush. And so usually it's the mealworms and the crickets. Unless we run out of both of those, then we do this grub mush that it's like has a shelf life kind of thing.
So that's why she says, I love the variety. And it's like a sweet interaction in a way. You know, like, oh boy, here she comes. And it's going to be fun to chat, she loves it when I eat the thing. And I probably get too much food, but I really enjoy the interaction. Even if I don't eat the food, I'm happy when she comes to do this because I can really feel the care she has for me and really the respect, is how it feels. And yeah, she says that's a wonderful interaction and I love the variety. So I think it's all going well. There's a chance that you could overfeed a little bit, but I feel like she's wise enough to not eat it. But she's saying, don't ever take it personally. I'm happy you're here, but it might be more than I can eat. The gecko Autumn said she didn't like being up in the air. It made her nervous. And she said she was not looking for a companion gecko. She said things were just fine the way they were. She enjoyed her young human companion and watching the action in the busy household. Well, she says, as long as I'm where the action's at, I'm good in my tank, but I do like to get out a little bit. So I'm not lonely. I'm engaged in the whole household. But I love to see what's happening. I love to see what's going on. So I would be happy to be moved to the main room or to stay in the main room if that's where she's at. She says, I'm fully engaged, even though I'm over here. I feel like she's saying, I'm not that interested in another gecko in here. I don't know a lot about this animal, but I feel like this is my territory, and I'm not that interested in sharing it exactly. They asked Autumn if she was warm enough in her habitat, and she said she could use another large heated rock. She loved sitting on the rock she had and requested a second extra-large lounging rock that was warm and wonderful. This household with its variety of animal companions was a loving place for all of them. The dog loved playing with the children, the bunnies loved their habitat, and the gecko enjoyed it when the children fed and cared for them. Overall, this session covered many, many topics, and the humans felt they got answers to their questions directly from their animal companions.
For more episodes in the series, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. To learn all about Suzan Vaughn and her services, visit her website at animalwhisperer.net. Be part of the community by subscribing to her Facebook page, animalwhisperer.net. Then sign up for Suzan's newsletter to enjoy more of her fascinating animal-human communication stories. So, until next time, join Suzan as she talks to the animals on The Animal Whisperer.